Eternal, forever.
What's going on, Tribunal? Salutes all the cool geeks out there. Yo, more new news, as usual, bringing it to you in full effect. James Gunn's comment on DCU's future leads to exit speculations. All right, so I'm going to read this out of Yahoo Entertainment and see what's going on with James Gunn. He's staying in the news, and I think he's taking over everything with this podcast because these are like the topics that are really interesting to me because whoever's deciding, whoever's running everything and is the CEO of, these studios, they're the ones making the movies that we love so much, whether you're into the books or not. Everybody, not everybody, but many people are definitely into going to see the movies and watching the TV shows. And this is the guy that's making them for DC. So he just got the job. How is he possibly out already? It's getting kind of crazy over there right now. So anyway, let me read through this and see what's going on. And then, I'll chime in and just give my little thoughts on it. A recent comment by James Gunn, co-CEO of DC Studios and the creative force behind the DC Universe's current slate, has started widespread speculation about his possible exit and talks of a Warner Brothers sale. After all, the Warner Brothers Discovery merger has got fans watching out for what the future holds for DC Studios and its leadership. I know I've been critical of, rightfully so, Disney and what they've been doing with Marvel in recent years because it's too many things that are detracting away from a good storyline, and there are great stories to be told, with Marvel characters. But I can't front as if I wouldn't be a little bit intrigued or a lot intrigued and excited at the possibility if Disney possibly were to go in and snatch up these DC characters, make some movies, and because they're all under the Disney umbrella, what would it look like to have Marvel versus DC as a real possibility? That would be super sick, So, just saying, just throwing it out there, if there's any possibility, that would be kind of ill. But anyway, let's continue with this article and see what's going on. DCU fans speculate on James Gunn's exit and Warner Brothers sale announcement. Rumors of Warner Brothers Discovery sale have gained serious traction after Paramount Global reportedly made a failed offer to buy the company. Following that, WBD's board confirmed that the sale is indeed being considered, which immediately made fans question what it means for DC Studios and its co-heads, James Gunn and Peter Safran. Now, in an interview with Boba Talks, Gunn addressed the long-term direction of the DC Universe, particularly regarding how storylines from shows like Peacemaker Season 2 and Lanterns will connect to upcoming movies such as Superman, Man of Tomorrow. James Gunn said, if is yes, they definitely go significantly further than Man of Tomorrow. So now whether or not that'll be me that's able to fulfill that promise, he laughs. So is that a nervous laughter, or is he know something else that we don't know? Like, what's that laugh about? Depends on a lot of things in life. But yeah, this line, specifically Gunn's hesitation, immediately ignited speculation among DC fans online. Some users at Reddit's DC Cinematic subreddit suggested that Gunn might have stopped himself from saying, if I stay. Though this interpretation remains unconfirmed, while some others suggested there's a reason that he jumped Superman of Tomorrow to the front of the line and is shooting 2 months before Supergirl comes out. Now, it could be that, obviously, if he fixes and gets the Superman thing in order and gets that correct and gets makes it a true money maker, then it would make sense because then that would help Supergirl whenever he would, get around to that. Then there's also, it could be just his own personal thing where he's like, yo, I don't want to leave Superman. The last time my name was on the Superman project and I'm out, and it's out here looking crazy. And that's the last thing he was attached to, because he's a Superman fan. Like, if you ever seen this movie he did before he got down with DC called Brightburn, it was basically Superman in a horror movie. What if Superman, like Superman meets the Omen? He's definitely a Superman fan, so it might be those two things that why he's thinking strategically that he needs to make this move and put that in front of Supergirl, because that would, like I said, it would help Supergirl to come up as well if he gets Superman, some rave reviews and not the mixed response that it got, with a little bit more like 70-30 negative than, what we've seen as far as any positive reviews for that latest Superman movie. Back to the article. Given that Warner Brothers Discovery may be heading for new ownership, many are reading James Gunn's remark as a subtle acknowledgement of instability within the studio. For now, Man of Tomorrow, featuring David Cornsweet as Clark Kent, is slated to release on July 9th, 2027, and remains a major part of Gunn's long-term DCU blueprint. All right. Well, David Cornsweet, I think, was a good casting. I think that the suit that he used, which was not his idea, but the suit that James Gunn got him in, was terrible. Fix the suit, change the suit, keep Cornsweet. Don't know if they got somebody on deck, Warner Brothers, whoever would buy them. So it would probably make sense to keep, James Gunn in there if he's easy to work with. Remains to be seen in that regard, because he seems like he definitely wants his vision to be what is the one that the world sees and not anybody else's input. And Zack Snyder may not be the savior and going backwards, because there were things that were not perfect about that either. The Flash, the Justice League movie, specifically that editing job on Henry Cavill's lip, made Superman look like he got a busted lip, or a fat lip, when, they were just trying to edit out a mustache that he was supposed to be growing for another project. So I would just say that, nothing is perfect. And whoever does take it over, reach into the Superman animated series.
That's enough. I think you got your answer.
As to how to get Superman right, and what they did going into the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited and the early days of the DC animated movies that are a little bit more adult. If you can bridge the gap between all of those projects, where in many instances they really nailed Superman, try to bring that over into the live action Superman and finally give the people what they need, because it's been a long time since Christopher Reeve, and it's overdue to get Superman right. Christopher Nolan did his thing with the Dark Knight trilogy. Superman deserves the same sort of respect and vision, and just being able to pull it together. So get it together, and whenever get around to my guy The Question, make sure y'all do him right. So on that note, Tribunal salute. Cool Geeks Tribunal. Catch y'all next time. Peace.
Within us all live a Superman. Within our souls to survive. Don't you wish you were Superman?